Game one, game on, baby. 76ers, Knicks at the Garden in the first round of the NBA playoffs. Former New York Post sports reporter and host for ALLCITY Network and AllPHLY.com, Anthony Gargano is here with the energy to kick off our playoff coverage from down in Philly. Anthony, you come highly referred, my man. Thanks for hopping on with us. How you feeling?
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
This is it, man. Listen, these two teams, let's face it, we're separated by 90 miles. We're separated by an 80-minute train ride when you go express on Amtrak, right? Like, we share the Atlantic Division. Yep. We share a Northeast corridor, and yet they haven't met in the playoffs since 1989.
I was in kindergarten back then. So for this one, we got all of PHLY and all of NYC listening in to this one. The confidence is riding high down in Philly. Paul Reed said that the Sixers wanted the Knicks and that they were the easier team. You call cap on that, or do you think that they actually believe that?
Well, I think it's true. I think it's completely honest and completely true. Boston is the best team in the East. I think we can all agree that the Celtics and the year that they've had are clearly the best team in the Eastern Conference. You get a Knicks team that I think is plucky, that I think is a 2 seed, right? But also missing Julius Randle, right? You just get OG back. I think it's clearly it's smart to want to play Boston and not play New York, or to want to play New York and not play Boston to start the series, especially when you're integrating Joel Embiid back into the program.
So it wasn't bulletin board material; it was actual facts when you break it down. So I can.
Yeah, I mean, would you agree? Yeah. I mean, think about it.
Yeah,
like, you want to play Embiid's just getting his legs back, right? Yeah. After missing most of the year. So, if you're going to play Boston, you much rather play him later on when now Joe's in a rhythm and the whole thing. That's a great team right now. Like, Porzingis edition, right? You add Drew Holiday with Derek White, and to go along with Tatum and Brown. That's a great team. So, yeah, I'd much rather play the Knicks.
You mentioned the Knicks being down Julius Randle, but they do have the Villanova 3, the Villanova Big 3. We call them the Villanova Knicks up here. Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo. How do you think that Sixers fans are going to treat the Villanova Knicks throughout this series?
First of all, a couple things. One, you owe us, right? Because you're right. You have Villanova. You have the Villanova Knicks. You should be wearing a blue V across your chest. And you got Leon Rose, who's a Philly guy. And you got William Wesley, Worldwide West, who's a Philly guy, right? We gave you this franchise now. All this success came from Philadelphia. But how will they be treated at Wells Fargo? I'll give you an example. Boo! They will be booed. Listen, if Kobe Bryant, the great Kobe Bryant, was booed before the 0-1 finals, all right, what do you think the Villanova 3? First of all, half the city wants to boo Villanova anyway. They love Jay Wright, but they want to boo Villanova because it's Temple, St. Joe's, LaSalle, and Penn as well. So we're all divided here. But, yeah, they're going to be booed. I love Jalen Brunson. I love all three of them. I love Brunson. Brunson has become such an incredible star. His father, Rick, of course, went to school with me at Temple. He's unbelievable. The kid has become a true super, but, there's no love, man. Not in a series, not in the playoffs. No love in the playoffs.
And just to kind of give context to you guys, the game 1 and 2 are at the Garden. Game 3 is down in Philly. You know how people are going to jump in the comments. They don't play down there until game 3. Let's break down this game a little bit, because the Knicks defense has held opponents to under 100 points in 23 games this season. That's tied for first in the league. How are the Sixers going to get buckets in game 1?
Well, it all depends on how they want to go play Joel, right? Like, the offense flows through the Embiid. Okay. Right? The Embiid is back. And you saw him. Look, even in the play-in game, Miami threw that zone, that just ugly, defacing zone defense at them, and it freaked them out for a good 2.5 quarters. But look what happened at the end. again, Embiid, the offense, he has taken his game into like elite levels, like best player in the league levels. So you can't play him one-on-one. You can't play him straight up. You're going to have to double and triple. And that's where the Sixers will be dangerous, and that's what they'll try to do. Tyrese Maxey is playing Joel's co-star. Tyrese, and you'll know he plays with an immense joy. He is an incredibly quick, can score in waves. He doesn't have the Paul of Ben Simmons or James Harden. He's lethal and dangerous. And then you throw in role players like we saw Nick Batum in the play-in game against Miami hit 6 threes and kind of step up his game. You have Buddy Hield, you have Kelly Oubre, and Tobias Harris, who's kind of been in the doghouse, but like you got other role players that will chip in and kind of do their thing. It's an Embiid show, right? Like the whole thing's built around him, and unless the Knicks, I can't see the Knicks stopping him. And I can't. And if you're going to try to stop him, you're going to have to double and triple him.
Well, since it's the Embiid show, which superstar has more pressure to show up and show out, Jalen Brunson or Embiid?
No, clearly Embiid. I think the Embiid, he feels it now. He's 30 years old. I love the cover of the New York Post with the Embiid as Goliath.
Yeah,
he is. That's who he is. He is a beast and a monster, and he certainly is going to feel the pressure. They haven't gotten out of the second round in 6 years. All right. This is the 7th spring of the post process. All right. Now, the Sixers went through the process. They're losing to try to draft Joel Embiid. It worked. But you know what? We still haven't seen a championship. And so that's what the quest is. And they got to get out of the second round. So, yeah, I think there's more pressure on Embiid, even as the 7th seed, than Brunson as the 2 seed.
If the 76ers don't get out of the first round in this NBA playoffs, what's Embiid's legacy going to be within the city?
Unwritten yet, not finished. You're not going to write the legacy yet, because what's going to happen at the end of the year, Daryl Morey set this up. Like this year, when he got hurt, this year was always the precursor to next year. So under contract, all they have is Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. They're 2 best players. And then they have all kinds of cap room. They're going to build an entire team out of scratch. So if something happens and they lose this series of the Knicks, I don't think it's it's apocalyptic. I think next year would be really the year because of all the cap flexibility and the roster movement.
All right, final thoughts for Game 1 and the series.
Well, I like the Sixers in 6. I just look at it and I think they're too dangerous. I think they have too many weapons. I think Julius Randle's absence is a big one. No one can guard Embiid. I love how the Knicks play. The Knicks, again, they play hard. They don't cheat you. That works in the regular season, but here's the problem. Everybody does that in the playoffs. The playoffs is when everybody defends each possession. I just think the Sixers are a much better team. They're not a real 7 seed. It's only because of the Embiid injury, and they're the better team. Sixers in 6, and they win Game 1.
I can't wait until tip-off on Saturday. Tell the people, Anthony, where they can find you.
At Anthony L. Gargano on Twitter, Anthony Lewis Gargano on Instagram, and the ALLCITY Network, allphly.com. I love it. I miss all my colleagues in New York, and I love that garden. I watched Jordan score 63 on a Saturday afternoon at that place. That place is hallowed. It's pretty cool, man. Enjoy the series, brother.
Thank you. You too, man. Thanks for jumping on with us.